Talk about it. No, I'm going to really talk about it right now. Like literally. Okay. All right. Can we go? All right. All right. I asked for 2 people. Come on up. Come on up. Yeah. All right. Okay. What are those? Okay, Jenga blocks. I want you to make something right here and you to make it here. I hope you guys can see it because I can't see it. Nothing's on that screen. You realize that? Okay. All right. Take it off quickly. I don't have a lot of time. You both have 10 blocks. Okay. No cheating. Just do whatever you want to do with it and get creative. Okay. 30 seconds. 5. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. 10 seconds. I'm not really counting. I'm just making this up. All right, good. Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Yep, you get a prize. Okay, you can get a prize later. You can have organic seaweed. All right. So I'm Molly Linek. I'm a registered dietitian here at OSU, Master's in Public Health. And today I'm going to be talking about changing, or can you change the trajectory of aging? Love this. My mother used to say, the older you get, the better you get, unless you're a banana. Seriously? Come on, guys. It's Betty White. She's hilarious. So, yes. Do you think she's right? I do. And I hope and pray she is right. Because for the first time in the United States history, older adults are projected to outnumber children by 34. Look at that. I don't have a pointer, but if you can see that, this is in the United States, 94.7 to 80% or million, sorry. First time. Okay. The WHO, or the World Health Organization, declared this decade as the decade of healthy aging. The goal here, as they write it up, is not to increase the number of years lived, but to live well in the number of years you have. The difference between mortality, which is death, morbidity is living, but with lots and lots of diseases. Our health span, the years of healthy, independent living, is more important to our well-being than lifespan. What do you guys think? Is that a lofty goal? Can such an ambitious goal be achieved? Well, Juan from the Salk Institute had a quote on his really recent study that our study shows that aging may not have to proceed in one single direction. With careful modulation, aging might be reversed. Well, I really hope he's right, because 80% of our population right now, as it stands, 80%. So if I had 10 of you guys lined up, eight of you would have one chronic condition. Okay. 65% have 2 or more conditions. These are health conditions. And here in the Western way of treating health conditions is to treat it through pharmaceutical practices. So you have high blood pressure. We're going to give you amlodipine. And let's say you have high blood sugars. We're going to try metformin. High blood pressure. Oh, let me give you a diuretic. Oh, you have reflux. Let me give you Zantac. Now, all of those drugs running around in your body, creating havoc, and also side effects. And not only side effects, but side effects that then you have to treat those side effects. Am I moving too much? Oh, okay. All right. Compounding this, never ever addressing actually root cause and actually creating more problems. So for instance, I'm going to use Zantac as my example. So that's an anti-acid, or it reduces how much gastric secretion is, not Zantac specifically, how much gastric acid is being secreted in my belly. Now, as I'm aging 65 plus, I actually automatically make less of that anyway. Now, the purpose of the acid in your belly is to make sure that as I eat, the food in there actually gets broken down. Why would I care? Well, because in that food, I'm hoping that's where all of my nutrients are. So if I can't get into it and break it down, how am I going to then absorb the nutrients down in the gut? So in the aging population, we also have a very high propensity for bringing in low protein. So let's say you eat steak. Let's say that you don't have enough gastric juices in your belly just to start to break it down. How are you going to get that protein? Do you see my point? So treating with pharmaceutical drugs, we've got to find a new way. So my thing is always this, and many of you people here in the audience at least can totally testify. I always say, I'm going to tell you the why. I'm not going to just say to do this, because when we know the why behind what we are doing, then it's more impactful. And I think you need to ask yourself, why would I do something that I don't understand? Why am I taking this drug that I don't even know about? Why do I pick up food from the shelves of my local grocery store? I don't even know what those words are in the ingredients, but I'm going to put it in there. Why? It sure is. There's a great marketing somewhere. So I know you guys are not going to like this, but we have to get into some science in order for you to understand the complexity and this amazing new science that's going on. So of course, we have to figure out what is causing the aging process. And these are the ones that I'm going to talk about. So don't leave. Lock that door. No one can go. So we're going to be talking about gene expression. We're going to talk about the epigenome. We are going to be talking about DNA damage and how that changes. And actually, I know you're not going to necessarily know all of this, but your telomere length. You're like, what is that? We're going to talk about energy conversion in our cells and why our cells die. And we're going to talk about NAD+. We're going to have a brief discussion about inflammation and oxidative stress, okay? And I hope by the very end, you guys have all bought in to the why, to the answer of using functional nutrition approaches, okay? Not just food in itself, but those approaches of how you're doing it that's going to change the trajectory of aging and hopefully keep you in that mortality rate that is also living life well. Okay, here we go. This is fun. Okay, everyone knows what is, well, first of all, what is epigenome? What is gene expression? What is a DNA? Okay, DNA is like a blueprint. Got that? It's like you go into, it's a blueprint. Epigenome is the contractor. They call the shots and they decide what is going to be built. Whatever they build is how they've expressed themselves, okay? That is the gene expression. Now, I asked for 2 volunteers up here. I gave them exactly 10 Jenga blocks, right? Yeah, okay. You guys, these here are your DNA. That's the DNA. That's, here you go, take it. Now, what made you build it like that and you express your jingle blocks like this. Same number of blocks. So the blocks represent your DNA. As you thought about it, being two different people thinking about how am I going to create something, that would be the epigenome. So you're different, you're different. What you guys put out here is how your gene expressed, or you expressed what you want to do with those 10 Jenga blocks. Does that make sense? So when you think about that with DNA, every single cell in the body has DNA. That DNA is exactly the same in every single cell. Okay, so every cell has these 10 Jenga blocks. Now, what makes one set of Jenga blocks make sure that it is creating a liver cell or a heart cell? Well, that would have been the epigenome, or those chemicals in our body that are actually in there. And I'm going to go through all of this. Don't worry, I keep going over it so you get it. But it's the chemicals in there, or the epigenome, that decide, I think I'm going to make a really tall pyramid, or I'm going to make a liver cell. And then I make the liver cell. Da, 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 da. That's how it expressed. Does that make sense? Okay. Honest? Hope it does. I'm going on. All right. Of course, you got to see this. I do it all the time because y'all need to know what a cell is, because this is where we are going. This is not new, but cell living into, or we're going to change the trajectory of aging right here. And it's happening right now. So I can't, I'll use this little, yeah, okay. So I just want you to see this. So we're going to be talking about DNA damage and telomeres. Okay, this is a human cell. Don't worry about ever memorizing it. But here is the nucleus, or somewhere in there. Okay, this big thing. In that nucleus, that little tiny thing, right? Inside of the little tiny cell. By the way, we have over 37 trillion cells in our body. Okay, but in that one little cell, you have the nucleus. I don't. So inside the cell here is the nucleus. Can you guys watch my cursor? Yeah, okay. Inside there is this DNA, right? Here it is. That represents this chromosome, okay? You put these things together. Here's your DNA. Remember, those are those blocks. Guys, those are the blocks. The way this ends up stacking out or not is the epigenome. The expression of it right here, how it actually lays out, is your expression. Okay, so right here you have the chromosome. Now, what I want you to understand is at the end of all those chromosomes, we have something called telomeres. They're little caps on the ends of those chromosomes. Why do you care? Because those caps now have been, well, are the relationship between you aging well or you aging poorly. Now, think about a shoelace. And you know how shoelaces have those little tiny caps at the back on the bottom? You know, like, I mean, right at the lace at the top. Imagine if you didn't have one, or it got shorter and shorter, and then your shoelace came out of your shoe. And then you're going to go and try to feed it back through. It's pretty hard, right? You keep playing with it and playing with it and play with it. It's not going to go through. So it becomes frayed because you don't have that plastic cap anymore. Well, your telomere is that plastic cap, holding the DNA together, holding it so that all of your genetic makeup isn't going all over the place and being frayed. Well, the cells, these cells in your body have to divide, and they can divide up to 50 to 70 times. Each time the cell divides, okay, remember that 37 trillion cells, each time that cell divides, you lose a little bit of the end of your telomere. Okay, so every time you have to restring your shoelace, you lose a little bit of it. And it's going to get harder and harder to kind of get it in there, right? Is that making sense so far? Good. Okay, well, as you lose these telomeres and they keep getting kind of chunked off, they become very dysfunctional. And what ends up happening, oops, is that eventually that cell or that DNA or the chromosome ends up getting really sticky, and it allows it to bind with other things, other chromosomes, creating all new things in our body: Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, cancer. Are you getting my point? Because as these cells divide and they lose these telomeres or these caps, and they get frayed and they get sticky, they create something all different. Now, eventually that cell will die, or it'll manifest into something that we don't want, like cancer, and go around and hurt other cells. But they also then, because our immune system is amazing and it does what it's supposed to do, it'll inflame, and you'll have oxidative stress just on that one cell because your immune system comes in and tries to get rid of it. Okay, so what causes these telomeres to keep shortening? Things that you can't do besides the dividing, that normal process, but chronic inflammation. So not only if it dies, does it cause inflammation, but think about how often your body is inflamed because you have a runny nose, you're stuffy, right? I'm giving little tiny examples. Or you have a little bit of stiffness, inflammation, but now big chronic inflammation all the time creates, from disease, from illness, creates the shortening of those telomeres, which means they're more likely to then bind into something completely different. And also the length of those telomeres are exactly going to tell you your association with your age, like years. Okay, now can we change those? We're still working on it. Chronic stress. Okay, imagine if you were always sitting at the beginning of a race, okay? You're feeling it, you can feel it, and your heart's palpitating. Okay, you can feel that, think it. People live that way. People live that way all the time, okay? What do you think that does? Creates the free radicals to happen. It creates this chemical onslaught of our hormones, which then change other hormones. Okay, so oxidative stress from chronic external or internal stress. The one thing I'm going to be looking at, of course, is the standard American diet, which I absolutely love that it's abbreviated SAD because it is so sad. Americans today eat 58% of their total calories from ultra processed foods. Okay, 58% of those calories, ultra processed foods. Okay, so what do we have to do? We got to get rid of those. We've got to get rid of them. How many people, and I won't even move, I'm going to go right here. How many people have had like multigrain Cheerios? No? Do you feel like that's a bad thing? Okay, yes, no, doesn't matter. Okay, it's processed. It has taken the wheat or the oat, ground it down, bleached it, changed it, put in additives and fillers. It's processed. Yeah, they sure do. With great marketing. Yeah. So my point of saying that is often people will say to me, well, I don't eat processed foods. And I'm like, well, let's go through this, okay? Because oftentimes we don't even realize we're eating really ultra processed foods. Remember the why? Why are you picking it up if you can't read the ingredients and you don't even know what it is? Why are you taking a medication that you don't even know? And that's why we're here for me to help you make those informed decisions. Okay, chronic overconsumption of calories, constantly eating. And I am telling you, we're going to be watching a video, constantly eating. Remember, eat every 2 hours, right? Eat every 2 hours. American Diabetic says, eat every 2 hours. That's what you need to do. Okay, well, I'll prove something to you. Diet that is undernourished. That doesn't mean that you're not eating enough calories, but all the calories you're taking in are like, I don't know, fruit roll-up, or I don't know, orange juice, instead of eating the entire orange. Those are different. The orange juice is processed. This is not. Okay. So undernourished in the food, you could be eating a lot, just don't have any value to it. Or maybe you don't have enough hydrochloric acid in your belly to break it down. Kidding. All right, so here's the solution. And don't worry, I'm not going to sit here and go on through all of these, because at the very end we will. B vitamins, folic acid, B12, these are all B vitamins. Vitamin C, vitamin A, zinc, omega-3 fatty acids, polyphenols, curcumin. The research shows that these nutrients are absolutely essential to bring those, and can bring those telomeres back, and not only back, but then lengthen them. So instead of always getting them shorter and shorter and shorter, it's like someone came in the shoe fairy and kind of put something more onto your shoelace at the end, and now you can get it through the holes as you try to relace it. So Dean Ornish, many of you know Dean Ornish. Okay, yes, no, maybe so. All right, he has an institution now. It's really a fascinating place. But he paired up with the Nobel Prize winner, Elizabeth Blackburn. Elizabeth Blackburn won the Nobel Prize because of her research finding these things called telomeres. This is revolutionary to get that kind of intricate data, because now we know what we can do. So they went, this was the first published controlled study showing that lifestyle changes can actually not only lengthen, save the telomeres, but also then lengthen it. And I didn't want to keep going on and on about this because I always talk too much, but very, very, very fascinating. The editors of the Lancet Oncology, which is a medical journal, described this as reversing aging at the cellular level. Remember when you were a little sperm in an egg? What happened? Those are all cells. Life happens there. I told you, she's the heckler. I am not asking questions anymore. But that's the power. We think, well, who cares? It's just one cell. I have 37 trillion cells, right? But it does matter. Okay, the next solution, which is a functional nutritional advantage to what we do, is intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating. What we now know is that time-restricted eating, and there's many, many, many ways. I'm not going to tell you hours. There's so many wonderful ways of doing it, flexing in and out, etc. But what we need to do is stop eating for a while. Okay? Now wait, stop eating. Why? Because our bodies have to clean itself out. Not only that, when we rest and we stop eating, we allow our bodies to clean the cells, and they clean them so much more efficiently when we're not continually shoving more stuff at that cell to metabolize it, to work, creating oxidative changes, because that's what happens when we digest food. So it stops a little bit of time. It allows our bodies to get more efficient. Just like if I gave you 10 minutes to clean the bathroom one time a week versus giving you an hour to clean the bathroom one time a week, you'd be much better off, because that 10 minutes, it's not going to be clean, because week after week, guess what? Hair grows, kind of grows, like literally grows. Stuff grows. That hour, now all of a sudden you're cleaning your cells. Now it becomes more efficient. The next thing, calorie restriction. Okay, do you remember I talked about Juan from the Salk Institute? This is from him. Okay, so the Salk Institute is in San Diego, California. The team compared rats that ate a normal diet. I'm going to have, because it goes really, really fast, to ones that ate 30% less food. Okay, so I'll go start. Why won't? Oh, okay. I'll read it. Okay. Let me just go back. Well, that was fun. Sorry. I didn't know. Yeah. All right. So I'll read it. And I'm going to have to go fast. Eat less, live longer, question mark. New research reveals the most detailed genetic roadmap yet and of how reducing calories affect the cells in the body. Studies show that restricting calories increase lifespan. We already know that. What we didn't know, however, is how. Okay. The Salk team compared rats that ate a normal diet to ones that ate only 30%. I'm going to stop. There. Stop. Okay. Restricted diet led to less inflammation, less immune overreaction, guys. Okay. And longer lives. Wait. And delayed telomeres, or delayed age-related diseases. Okay, genetic activity in the cells of rats on the diet closely resembled the activity of the younger rats. So even though their age, biological age was this, it wasn't happening. Okay, I'm gonna, okay. Okay, calorie restriction, which reduces inflammation, and something else, I'll let you guys read it really fast. Okay, ready? Acts like a master switch of something. It basically shuts. The scientists are now trying to utilize this information in an effort to discover aging. Read it. Understanding how our cells age could someday lead to therapies for aging. Calorie restriction reprograms the single cell transcription. Okay, did you hear that? DNA transcription. What does that mean? What? Yeah. This is amazing. The research that's coming out of this place is astounding. Astounding. What I want you to understand, not constantly eating, number one, that's intermittent fasting or timed restricted eating. And it doesn't mean you're going to be going hours on end. It means, let's stop earlier in the evening, just cut it off, go to bed, a couple hours in between before you go to bed. Don't eat, drink water, not drink, but drink water, tea. Give your body the rest. Now, by doing that, you automatically kind of shorten up how many hours you can be eating, right? If I say I'm going to eat for 8 hours, I can eat 8 hours, let's say. Sounds like a lot. But to get enough food that we think we need to eat in, it's hard. But you're going to eat the quality, not the quantity, thereby already decreasing your calorie intake, thereby changing the DNA, thereby keeping those little caps on the end of your chromosomes so they don't get all frayed and connect with something else and create cancer. If you ever wondered, you're like, so weird. I don't even have, prostate cancer in my family. So weird I got it. I don't even have Alzheimer's in my family. Crazy that I got it. This is imperative information. This right here is talking about your cellular DNA and how we can change it. Oh, poopy. Okay, sorry. Nope. Nope. Okay. All right. Does that make sense, guys? So those 37 trillion cells are very important. Now, DNA damage and telomeres, we know that, right? I needed you to look at the cell again, because the next thing I'm going to be talking about is energy in the cell. So you need to know that in this little tiny cell, not only do you have all this DNA matter and all these chromosomes and all that activity that's going on, but we also have to make sure that cell stays fed, right? We have to get it into right here, these things. See these things? They're called the mitochondria. I just want you to see where they're at. Okay, see all that stuff? That all happens in the cell, in the mitochondria. That is the powerhouse. That is where we get our energy. 90% of our energy in our body. Okay, so do you ever wonder, like, you know, as you get older or you hear your grandma, I just have to take naps in the afternoon. I'm so tired. I barely have any energy. Okay, let me prove it to you. Okay, in this process, and I really wish I had this pointer, oh, and volume and all that good stuff. All right, do you guys see here? We'll start off the blue, NAD, NADH. Down here, NAD, NADH. Over here, NA, you get my point? Okay. NAD plus is the most crucial coenzyme. What does that mean? It's like just makes the power happen. It makes the energy complete. It makes that cell be able to stay alive, right? Because the cell doesn't have energy. If I don't feed it, it's going to die. Do you guys ever have a house plant and you forget to water it? What does it do? It dies. Okay. My point is there's no difference if it's in the cell, outside the cell, a plant or something else. If you're not feeding it, if this process isn't happening, like in Alzheimer's in the brain, there's a limiting factor in here. But as we age, the limiting factor in these cells is NAD plus. Okay, that little tiny coenzyme that literally has to be there lowers. Worse than it just lowering is that we need more because the conversion isn't happening as quickly. Okay, so not only do we need more, but we're making less. Sounds like a really big problem, right? So then the body has less energy, cell has less energy. So NADH or NAD plus, it also does some other things. I'm sure you guys haven't heard of this, but I'm going to say the word just in case. So there's these things called sirtuins, and sirtuins end up doing a lot of different things in our body. There's all different ones, but they also help to protect our cell from damage, right? That's important. And it also fixes some of our cells so it doesn't get damaged. What happens if a cell gets damaged? Our immune system reacts, inflammation happens, oxidative stress happens. Okay, see how I'm getting around to those oxidative stresses? Well, then the cell dies. So if I had enough NAD plus, all of these things would be working really well. Okay, so my brain, I wouldn't have any problems with it. My liver, wow, I could actually break down fat. Vascular, heart, oh my gosh, I can actually do stuff now. My heart, it's going to get better. The cells are going to stay alive. Okay, so you get my point. Every single process, almost every single process, needs NAD. Well, Molly, that sounds great. What's the solution? Well, are we seeing a theme here? It's not my theme. I've read So much research. I was literally up. I finally went to bed at 3 a.m. Not because I just started yesterday, but because I started this a long time ago. Because I wanted to grasp and know and differentiate and put these puzzle pieces together. Because I want to know what's happening. So, intermittent fasting, what did we talk about? We have to take a moment to clean the cell out so that energy can actually get produced. If my plant has a whole bunch of soil, right, it's heaping up with soil, and I go to water it, what ends up happening? The soil dumps out. At least that's what happens in my plants. Does it drop out? Yeah, okay. If I have a whole bunch of crap in my cell, what happens? Nothing. It gets dumped. You can't use it. It doesn't get used. Hence, in Alzheimer's, cells actually not being able to use glucose, sugar, in the brain, creating a whole bunch of other issues. Okay, calorie restriction. Should we go back to that video? I'm kidding, we're not going to. What did that video tell you? Yes, okay, exercise. Now here, exercise is very important because exercise helps to increase the cell's efficiency, like to work better, kind of like pumping oxygen in there. The cell's gonna be working better, creating more of this NAD+. Functional food. So where do I find this, Molly? Well, there are very few things that have it, but I will, there's a punchline, don't worry. Okay. It is in vitamin D, vitamin B3 is a niacin or I'll get to it, but yep, nicotinamide, but and then NH2. But B3, okay? Think of it just as niacin. It's easier. Okay, in cow's milk, we have it. In mushrooms, look at that. Not only do mushrooms have that, but it also has adaptogens, which I'll get to. I am just crossing my things all over the place, aren't I? All right, fish, green vegetables, and nutritional yeast. The nutritional yeast meaning nutritional yeast, don't look at me like that because you already sampled it. It tastes nutritional yeast. Yes, that flavor of like cheesy that you've been shocked that you're like, that's not cheese. Yes. Okay. NAD boosters. Now they're okay. NAD plus supplementation. And this one has to have all three of those niacin derivatives. Okay. In that form, it has been shown to maximize the production of more NAD+. Okay. And then, of course, remove the sugar. Sugar, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, how do you get cow's milk without sugar in it? Or where do you get it?
Well, so yeah, no. So when you look at the sugar, cow's milk, it's not that it is a sugar, it is lactose. It's a derivative of a sugar, but it's only in the chemical form like that. Just like if I said that I eat a lot of sugar alcohols, it doesn't mean I'm chugging down alcohol. It's just a structural, okay. So lactose is a sugar, but it does not do what you're thinking it does. Yeah, good. Okay, okay. Does anyone know Robert Lustig? Oh, I love this man. Go look at some of his research from Harvard. Unbelievable, unbelievable, unbelievable. Okay. He's a big proponent of let's get rid of the sugar, and it's researched, not let's just get rid of it. The seductive dangers of our food. Okay, sugar is now the most ubiquitous food stuff worldwide and has been added to virtually every processed food. Every processed food, different derivatives now. Limiting consumers, that's us, our choice. and the inability or the ability to avoid it. How do we avoid it? Approximately 80% of the 6 million consumer packaged foods in the United States have added caloric sweeteners. Okay, let me give you a little. Now we're going to sugar alcohols, which just create a chemical shitstorm in your body. That's it. I don't care what it does. Now, I want to, people online, sorry you can't see this. So much so that we want to eat this, right? Not so bad, quick, easy. We feed our kids in the morning, right? No big deal. It's made of what? Oats. In 2023, there's something called glyphosates that are going to be banned. Glyphosates are on our everything. They're in everything. We are finally in the United States going to get rid of them, being that they are going to be banned. We never had a choice, did we? We didn't know they were on there. We didn't know that they change our cells at the cellular level. We didn't know that. Finally, we're going to be getting rid of them. This is the first packaging I've seen, and I carry this around like my proud child or something. And it literally says on here, what I can't read. Because people like me really want to know. Biochecked, non-glyphosate certified. Why? Because we know how harmful it is. It's like now that you know that margarine is bad for you because of the trans fats, you're going to go up and eat a whole bunch of it? No. Are you going to go out and drink Tab? You guys remember Tab? Or saccharin? No. Here, I'm going to pass. Just, okay. Now, this may say organic. It may say it's good for you. It's fine. However, did you have a choice to know that it had glyphosates in it? My point is, ask the why. You have to know why you are taking the drugs you're taking and how you can change your lifestyle versus just pounding more drugs, right? Covering and masking. All right, here we go. This right here is something that I spent some time on. I know it's a lot, but I was told by someone that I'm supposed to keep all my slides to a very minimum. So I just made it really, really, really small. All right. Hey, yeah, you'll get the. Okay. I even am talking about supplementation. Okay, so just, we got some time on this one. This is where we're going to sit. All right. Costco. Yeah, I got them at Costco. Okay, daily. Now, I'm just telling you, how are we going to change not only the inflammation and the oxidation that's going on in our body, but how are we literally going to change the expression of our genes, right here? How are we going to protect the end of this? Because I know that if this gets sticky, it's going to come over here and it's going to bind over there. And eventually it's going to fall and die. And it's going to cause havoc. Okay. If you damage your cell by, I don't know, not feeding it or can't feed it the right way because you're not getting in what you need, it'll die. So here we go. Daily. Here's really very, very, very important. Water. We all think, oh, I drink enough water. Blah, 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 blah. No, because every cell is water. Not only that, in order for our body to get rid of all that waste, we need water to flush. We need water to have chemical reactions in our body. I already showed you what was going on in that one little cell inside the mitochondria, right? Now, the next thing, you know what, maybe I can just blow. Nah, I'm not even gonna try because I'll probably screw it up. All right. And then I really believe we have a lot of electrolyte deficiencies. Okay. We are taking in, and I'm not the only one because actually research is showing it. We're taking in all of the diuretics that actually change the potassium and the sodium, holding on to one, throwing one out. But not only that, you know what stress does on our adrenal glands, right, on our kidneys? Stress pushes out more water, saving and getting rid of salt, and then saving something else. So stress alone changes it. Now, obviously, it's a hormone change, but you guys knew that. So you need to add in some minerals. Add in a teaspoon of salt. Doesn't mean you have to put it in your water. It doesn't mean, though, you go out and get flaming hot Cheetos because they're salty, but you get something that is actually electrolyte or has dense minerals. Yes.
Your thought on the element?
I love it.
Okay.
Yep, love it. But I want to keep this. Okay, organic, unfiltered apple cider vinegar or some kind of acid. Here's why. What did I say about our acid? If we cannot break down the food, how am I going to get the parts out in order to get those in the cell to make what I'm supposed to make, right? And I already said we need these nutrients. In the mitochondria, you see all that process just to make energy. If you don't have B vitamins, that process isn't going to happen. You got to be able to break down the food. The next thing, or any acid, you can do lemon. You don't have to do, but lemon would be fine. Add something, balsamic vinegar. At least 3 cups of green leafy vegetables a day. Why? Because if you looked over there before that, I showed you how that actually is something you need to make NAD+, to make the energy. Not to mention it gives you roughage and blah, 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 but we're talking cellular health. You need the nuts. Why? Because you need to have iodine. You need to have some of those minerals that are actually going to get in there, help and keep your telomeres from breaking apart, and also support all of those little tiny reactions that are happening in those 37 trillion cells, 37 million cells. Okay, next thing, 1 cup of 3 different colors. Why? Because every color has different phytonutrients. Polyphenols are, the research behind that is astounding. You have a telomere going bad? Polyphenols. How does that work? You'll see. Oxidation reduces oxidative damage on all of our cells and also helps to reduce inflammation. So I gave an example. I also, oh no, I didn't. I thought I was going to bring it, but I guess I did. Take 3 tiny little peppers. Okay. Red color, yellow color, orange. There you go. 3 different colors. 1 to 2 pieces of fruit. No more. There's a lot of research out there on fructose and the way it is being metabolized is so different. I already knew that, but interestingly enough, here's my one thing. Highly recommend do not have fruit alone and in the afternoon or beyond, especially for women or anyone that doesn't want to put on a lot of weight. It changes and flips some things around. What I mean by that is the way that our circadian rhythm flows with the insulin and glucose. Okay, so good enough. If you're going to have it with a fat or have it with some protein at the same time. That's fine. Okay. Organic herbs. You got in those organic herbs and spices, and I mean amazing. Can you go grab? There's a salad in there in the refrigerator in there, please. Or Christina will get it. These herbs, when we have something called the oxidative, it's an ORAC value, oxidative reactive absorption capacity. Herbs are the highest. They are that potent in making sure that it doesn't damage my cells. That one, the made up. Okay, I made up this salad. I'll pass it around. Don't eat it. It's for tomorrow. But literally, you can just get your nose a little close to it and you can smell the dill. You can smell the shallots. You can actually, wow, it's amazing. Oh, that one, I want to eat it now. So I want to have you just look at that. Herbs on here, fresh or not, make sure they're organic. Highly beneficial for our body. And get creative. You know, when you're drinking all that water that you're supposed to drink, infuse it with rosemary, infuse it with lemon. That will actually help to absorb it into the cells. If you don't have that, it's not going to be absorbed as well, and you're just going to spend all of your day in the bathroom. 1 serving of whole grain. I'm supposed to say it. Okay. 20 to 30 grams of protein at every meal in my older population. As we age, we actually need more protein. So one thing I always recommend, and this is what I've been doing a lot, and I will send this around, but what this is grass-fed whey. It's raw, not isolates, not a whole bunch of stuff inside. It's also cold pressed. Okay, there's a process in which this actually does not denature all of the amino acids that are necessary. One specifically, which I have recommended highly, is L-glutathione. L-glutathione is an amino acid that is one of the most powerful scavengers out there. I take L-glutathione every single day. High stress, I increase it. Taking it this way, put it in a shake. This here is going to give you exactly protein, exactly these amino acids in a very absorbable way that has not been damaged, because we got enough cellular damage. So you think about that protein, you need 20 to 30 grams at each meal for 65 and older. It's hard. That's whey. This whey, that whey, I had many people who couldn't do whey have tried that whey because it is not denatured, which is usually why those isolates will create lots of bloating, lots of gas. That does not bother me. I can't do whey isolates. Yep. Now, if you're allergic, try another way. Like if you're a vegan, try the protein, the pea protein or the vegetable protein base. But be careful and be wary of all the additives, okay? And I wouldn't do isolates. That's what I just said. Yep. You can do the vegan sources like the plant proteins. Absolutely. In a drinkable form is a lot easier, because as we age, sometimes, you know, we're on these polypharmacy ways of living, where meaning lots and lots of drugs that we're taking, and we're not being able to digest it down. So a liquid form is quick and easy. You don't have to worry. You can shove a lot of the above stuff in it, drink it down, and you're that much further, because we don't always feel really hungry. Doesn't mean you have to eat though, because remember, but the idea is it becomes it becomes much more manageable, as well as very bioavailable. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm a big proponent of eating meat and animal proteins, but they have to be grass fed and they have to be grass finished. Free range, wild caught, doesn't matter, because it totally changes. The cow that's been conventionally raised is eating corn that is GMO'd. Also, the corn in itself increases your inflammation because it is a different type of fat. So now you've changed, not to mention hormones, whatever. Now you've changed that animal. What it used to look like inside their cells is different. and has created a whole different profile. So the conventionally raised, okay, compared to something that is eating grass, which is then going to give you anti-inflammatories, which is the omega-3s, very, very, very high omega-3s in the grass-fed beef, right? Oh, don't want to eat beef. Gosh, I got to limit that. Depends on where you're getting it. Okay, and we have to know that because we just talked about DNA, right? Okay, the next thing I got to get in through the, okay, more than 3 times a week, just to kind of, because it's a lot of food. I'm saying you can switch out your protein for one of these. I'm not saying, it just kind of gives you an idea. Notice the healthy fats. Notice the chia seeds. Those are going to give you a lot of B vitamins. The chia seed will, the hemp, it'll give you the protein. But it'll also, yes, that's what it'll give you. I'm watching time. Okay. Full fat, I'm a big proponent of not taking out the fat because I'm not going to take something and then butcher it. Okay. The next thing, and plus it satisfies you. And if you get it organic from a grass-fed animal, you're going to change again. You're going to have a high ALA profile, which means helps you to it helps you with your metabolism, using up energy quicker. Okay, you have one more serving. So maybe you decided, well, I'm going to go berserko tonight. I'm going to have, 3 cups of berries. Great, there it is. One night, but you only get to do that 1 week. Or I mean, one time that week. Okay, cacao, not cocoa, not chocolate, not milk chocolate, not Hershey's, cacao. So what that does is that you're actually using this cacao offers all of those phytonutrients that I was talking about in a very high proportion that helps to give you, helps to cap your chromosome, also helps to increase that NAD+. Okay, you can continue to read it. I want to get over here to what I believe everyone should be taking, not because I believe it, because that's what the research is showing. Now, do not take anything if you're on medications until you check with your doctor. Do not, I will repeat it again, take any any supplements if you're taking medications without asking your doctor. Okay, is that a good disclaimer? Okay, good. Vitamin D3 with K2. Get it? Take it. Here it is. You can do it this way. You can do it any way. Helps absorption, helps the calcium be absorbed, etc. Besides that, vitamin D3 is one of the most misrepresented vitamin out there for a while until COVID hit. So take it, helps with metabolism, helps with absolutely everything in your body. Okay, omega-3 fatty acids. It just doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to take 1,000 milligrams because it says it. Turn it over, investigate. It needs to have EPA and DHA, needs to have a ratio about 2. Well, it depends on what your situation. Do not take this either if you do not check with your doctor, because if you are on a blood thinning medication, you shouldn't be taking it, because what does it do? It actually helps you thin your blood because it's that powerful. It's an antioxidant. It will help you. Omega-3s, you want to look at the back. Make sure the ratio is about 2 to 1. So EPA to DHA. Magnesium. Magnesium, again, it is involved in over 400 cellular processes. When you are stressed, you use it up. What do you need? Magnesium to actually get that process to work. So you're doing, it's a double whammy. Now, not just any magnesium, because magnesium will make you go to the bathroom. So there is one that I very highly recommend. It's magnesium bisglycinate. Okay. What that is, that's a carrier, not oxide, not citrate, not the stuff you're going to go into and get it from the store or CVS. because you won't. The bisglycinate carries it across the blood-brain barrier, which helps to helps the brain function better. It also helps in muscle cramps, muscle contractions. Now remember, every contraction in those muscle fibers happen with a positive and negative charge. You need those electrons. This one carries right in to your muscles to help them function better. Now, and it also goes other places. Now, I mentioned the one thing I take, and I would really highly, I take a lot of this, but really highly recommend, only I'm thinking about cellular health now, is L-glutathione. It needs to be chelated. I will not tell you what it is. You can come and see me. I would also do a pre and probiotic to keep your gut healthy. Why? Because many people that are 65 plus are on polypharmacies, medications, lots of medications. And what do you think that does? It changes your gut bacteria. Okay. Now, I put think about, but if you read research, I don't know. I'm just saying. Okay. So think about it. Choline, zinc, quercetin, which has been talked about with the idea of COVID, but actually there's really solid research showing the benefit with sugar control in diabetes, but really just for anyone to maintain cellular integrity. Very, very interesting. Berberine would be out. It's something that you can take. Also fascinating. Look it up. I'm over. I know. CoQ10 is one I would say consider. Curcumin, highly recommend. It's an anti-inflammatory, but it's in that profile of the phytochemicals. Okay. NAD plus, I put a brand name there that has, I looked it up yesterday, 60 studies. They have so many different patents. The FDA actually has approved their brand of the NAD plus. Okay, that's where I would go. DHEA, consider, and then B complex. Always take it under the tongue with the B12, because if you are older, this is about, as we age, we cannot absorb or possibly not even make in our gut, because we're on many medications, or just because we're aging, absorb B12. B12 is in that Krebs, that cycle that I showed you in the mitochondria. Yeah. B12 in a power drink. Woohoo, look at that. It says, I'm going to have a whole bunch of energy. One of those energy drinks doesn't mean B12 is going to give you energy. It doesn't do that. What it does is it helps that thing in the cell, the mitochondria, churn out. Doesn't do anything else. Doesn't make your energy. It allows it to happen. All right. I know we got to go. All right, here we go. You got to do functional foods. You got to think about that. Intermittent fasting or time restricted eating. All the literature is saying it. Doesn't mean you have to stop eating for days. Calorie restriction. There's nothing I can say better than that little video. Remove the sugar. Be aware. Exercise, pharmaceuticals, check it out, because you really want to know why you're taking it and what you're taking. Okay. Many, many quotes, because I love them. If it's a plant, eat it. If it was made in a plant, don't. This is mine. If you don't know the why, then why would you do it? I say it all the time. Why in the heck would you do it? If I asked you for $1 million, would you give it to me? Wouldn't you ask why? $10, why? But you'll put it inside your body. You have the power to change your trajectory on your aging. That's the end. Da, 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 da. Have a great night, you guys. I'm here for questions, but I know, do we have questions? Okay, questions.
Molly, your thought on HIIT training during the fast?
Yes.
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 Okay.
What it does, it is, okay, sorry. Question. What is my thought on HIIT training during your window, your intermittent fasting window, or your time restricted? So basically exercising on an empty stomach. Now I'm going to preface that I don't know who you are. I do, but I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you've never exercised. So I'm going to tell you what the science shows. On athletes, on very well-trained athletes, time trials in cycling, towards the end of their window, so no extra glycogen in their belly, their times are actually better than what they were if they had eaten. The same people. I'm just showing you athletes, okay? Next thing, it's like if you're not eating and you're going into fat to get rid of it, fat stores, because that's what we're doing. Well, we're going to tap into our fat and use it as energy, which, because fat is inflammatory, causing a whole slew of wrongs. When you get in and use that, it's like taking wood, starting a fire, and then dousing it with lighter fluid. So it actually exponentially increases that amount. Now you better be doing electrolytes, not in a sugared form. Yes, I know you do, but everyone else. Okay, what else? Yeah, okay. It wasn't that, but tomorrow we are going to be doing, where do I put it? Okay, what else? This is just one brand. I happen to be the one I researched and looked at. Here you go. Can we take a picture and just? Okay, you put this in it. Yep. You put this in it. You would put some greens in it. You can add in many herbs and spices, like literally. This is organic ginger. Ginger, as we know, is an anti-inflammatory, helping to offer all of that, those phytochemicals. Add it. Do not skimp on it. So maybe you want to add greens. You can put some of the cacao. You could put a few nuts or a nut butter in there. A little bit of organic extract, vanilla extract. Maybe you would even want to do organic peppermint extract and make it fun. So you're trying to use natural sources, and I don't have them. You can even use, I put on there organic medjool dates, which are very rich in iron, which actually helps the cells, rich in all of the nutrients that you also need, the trace elements. It has zinc in it. It has copper. It has iodine. So that would be a natural way of sweetening something. Is there a big difference between the frozen fruits versus smoothies versus fresh? The question was, is there any difference between frozen versus fresh? Absolutely not. Probably your pocketbook, as long as it's organic. Probably better frozen because they typically will retain the nutrients better. The ones that are fresh, sometimes they've been sitting there. It just depends. And those, the nutrients will leach out of it.
Have you used the Yuka app? And if so, what are your thoughts?
I have not used it.
What it does, you go in the grocery store.
Have I used the Yuka? UCA?
YUKA.
Oh, like a yucca plant. Kind of YUCA. KA. YUKA. There you go. It's an app that.
Like in a grocery store, you can scan the QR code. It instantly comes up with everything that's in it, whether it's good, bad. Donnie's been using it for a while.
Oh. Okay. So it's an app that you scan the QR code, and it'll bring up everything that's in that product. I haven't.
Okay.
Questions, you guys? Can you share your thoughts about the Anti-inflammatory diet is, I call it eating whole food. Sorry. Everything I put on that list is an anti-inflammatory diet. It is an anti-inflammatory diet. So what do I think about the anti-inflammatory diet? Thumbs up. Eat real whole foods. In the studio, I have some things here that I want people to look at. So anti-inflammatory eating means get rid of the processed, get rid of the sugar. When you are going to have something sweet, choose something that gives you something back. Okay. So medjool dates, I have some soaking in the refrigerator over here because I'm actually going to use them in a shamrock shake tomorrow. I'm not going to not have it sweet, but I'm also going to put iron in it. I'm also going to put copper and zinc, and it'll be sweet, but not to the point where it's artificial, where my tongue is like, was that a watermelon piece of candy, or was that just because I can't watermelon from a Jolly Rancher compared to real watermelon? They're like night and day. Okay, so using something sweet because it's going to give you something back. Questions? How do I talk so fast? I don't know. My mouth is so dry. So I have some stuff up here. I would be happy to walk through it quickly, but I just wanted you to kind of see some things. Thank you any more questions? Okay, thank you so much. If you guys want to see me, I'm always, you can go through OSU, the Heights Center, and of course I see individual clients. Look up that ketogenic greens program because it's all real food. It's amazing. Goodbye.